It's time for Dodger Baseball. Live from Dodger Stadium, Sportsnet LA presents the Dodgers as they take on the New York Mets. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Thursday evening to you, wherever you may be. We're here at Dodger Stadium, the final game of a pretty exciting four-game series with New York. Take it this way. The Mets won the first game 4-2. Dodgers came back, remember, game-winning home run by Thompson to pull it out 3-2. And then the Mets hung on last night and beat the Dodgers 4-3. So to put it in other words, the Dodgers battling tonight to get a split. The Mets, by the way, winning 4 of their last 5 games, and wouldn't you know, their starting pitchers are 4-0. For the Dodgers, battling some lean times. They've lost 10 of the last 15, and over that stretch, they've only managed to score 23 runs. So when you're in trouble and you're a Dodger, you look to Clayton Kershaw. Kershaw is 4-1 against the league. He has beaten the Mets 6 times in his last 8 starts and has earned run average against New York 0.79. That's right, less than 1 run. On the mound for New York, Bartolo Colon, who'll be 43 years old come the 24th of this month. He is 1-1 against the Dodgers and lifetime 2-5, and Bartolo brings a record of 3-1. He has won his last 2 straight. The Dodgers, 500. However, they're still in first place, tied with the Giants, 1 in front of Arizona and Colorado. We'll be back with the ball game and a whole lot more right after this. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Thursday evening to you, wherever you may be. We're at Dodger Stadium for the final game of a great 4-game series with the New York Mets. The Mets, having won 2 of 3, and the Dodgers battling for a split tonight, send their ace, Clayton Kershaw, to the mound. For Terry Collins and the New York Mets, they are 9 games above 500, but they're only a half a game in first place ahead of Washington. And Terry's lineup reads this way: Curtis Granderson in right field, Asdrubal Cabrera at short, David Wright at third, and Yoenis Cespedes in left field. Neil Walker at second, Juan Lagares in center field, Kevin Plawecki the catcher, Eric Campbell at first, and Bartolo Colon on the mound. On the mound for the Dodgers, the best they have, and that would be Clayton Kershaw. He is 4-1 with a brilliant earned run average of 2, and he is ready to go up and try and turn things around for the Dodgers. Kershaw has 3 straight games of 10 or more strikeouts to go along with no walks. So since 1893, there's been no pitcher ever had 4 straight such games, and we'll see what he does against the Mets. In his career, he is 6-0 lifetime. He split 2 in the division series against New York, and he's trying to win his 5th of the year. Curtis Granderson has been bothered a little bit with a sore hip, but he's playing, and the left-hand batter holds up on a strike, and we are underway. 0-1. For the New York Mets, they've established a high note in this series. Granderson struggling, hitting just 125 in the month. Takes one low and inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. 65 degrees. Curtis, of course, has had some great years. The veteran who really sparkled with the Yankees. 1-1 pitch on the way, and it's a fastball in there at the knees, and the count 1-2. Granderson followed by Cabrera and then Wright. Now the 1-2 pitch on the way. Kershaw's curveball is swung on and missed. Big slow curve at 74 miles an hour. Take a look at the Dodgers with the leather, and they shape up this way. Gonzalez and Utley on the right side, Sager and Turner on the left, Kike Hernandez in left field, Jock Peterson in center, Yasiel Puig in right, Yasmani Grandal behind the plate. Handling Kershaw. Normally you expect to see A.J. Ellis, but Dave Roberts likes to mix and match and thinks it's a better matchup with Grandal going against Colon. So here's Cabrera, and the shortstop takes a strike, and the count 0-1. When Granderson swung and missed, it just brought up another point about Clayton Kershaw. Asdrubal waiting, and the strike 1 pitch on the way. Ground ball wide of third. Up with it there is Turner. Has to wait for Gonzalez to get to the bag and throws him out. So 2 down, and the batter David Wright, one of the great tormentors against the Dodgers throughout his career. He has struggled in this series, however. When he came in, he had hit .365 in his career against the Dodgers, but they've pretty much stopped him so far in the 3 games. He has a little streak. He has walked at least once in 10 straight games. So you have a guy who walks, and you have a fellow who doesn't give up walks, and fastball shoots a little low. Ball 1, 1-0. Wright is followed by Cespedes. We're just starting. 2 down, bases empty, first inning. Kershaw comes right back, 1-0 with a fastball fouled away, and the count 1-1. Kershaw has gotten 119 swings and misses. They keep tabs like that. Colon has gotten about 50. Yet Colon's fastball is clocked at about just under 68 miles an hour. But he's a miracle man, and will be fun watching him. 1-1 pitch on the way is popped in the air and going foul off to the right, and the count 1-2. Bright canopy of blue. Sunset time here in Los Angeles. The right field corner of the pavilion, the upper deck still sun splashed, and the rest of the ballpark in shade. But this is a difficult time for the outfielders to get a jump. 1-2 pitch on the way is a little low, and the count 2-2. Talking about swings and misses, the number 2 man is Clayton Kershaw behind Max Scherzer and followed by Noah Syndergaard. 2-2 pitch on the way. Clayton deals fastball away at 94, so he goes 3-2 to David Wright. Waiting on deck, Cespedes. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Kershaw ready, and here he comes. Fastball down in the dirt, down around Wright's feet. So Wright continues his streak now. He has walked in 11 straight games, and the batter now will be Cespedes. So Yoenis Cespedes coming up. You have 2 big stars going head to head. Cespedes hitting .296, 11 home runs, 31 runs batted in. So for Kershaw, he had that streak of 3 games without giving up a walk, and that's down the drain with the walk to Wright. So Tom Goodwin, who played for the Dodgers, coaching at first, Wright taking a cautious lead, and Kershaw ready to work on Cespedes. No score, first inning just starting with 2 out. Kershaw delivers fastball, little foul ball off to the right, and it's going to wind up back in the stands. And the count, no balls and 1 strike. Interesting, Clayton Kershaw and Bartolo Colon. What a matchup that is. One fella throwing 94, the other fella throwing under 88. One is young and strong, the other older and wiser. He'll be 43, Will Colon, the 24th of this month. No balls and 1 strike to count. 2 down, right at first. Kershaw, that long stretch, looks over at first, stares now to the plate, and it's swung on and missed, and the count 0-2. Remember, with Kershaw, you see a lot of swings and misses. So he has Cespedes, no balls and 2 strikes. The Mets 9-6 at home, 12-6 on the road. Wright studying Kershaw, who in turn is studying him. And the strike 2 pitch on the way to Cespedes, over the top in the dirt. Nice block by Grandal, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. The Cardinals will be here starting tomorrow night, but the Dodgers have their hands full with the New York Mets. Kershaw plants the left foot. Cespedes, right-hand hitter, waiting at the plate. And the 1-2 pitch coming up. Clayton out of a stretch, looks at right, comes back to the plate, off speed, big slow curveball fouled away, and the count stays 1-2. So Kershaw, fastball, curveball, a change, and of course he has stirred up a lot of memories. Once in a while when he'll throw, well, you'd have to call it a junior eephus pitch, but it's about 70 miles an hour. Big slow rainbow that drops straight down. 1-2 the count. Clayton shaking no and no, but that doesn't mean anything except to confuse the hitter. And the 1-2 pitch on the way. Clayton delivers a high fastball, and the count 2-2. So he got the first 2 easily, but walking right and going 2-2 to Cespedes, he made 17 pitches. Bob Guerin, Dave Roberts watching him, making sure he's on the beam. Now Clayton is ready. Right, short lead. He doesn't figure to go anywhere, but just to take the thought away from him, Kershaw throws over there. Clayton is letting the beard grow. For a little while, he had just a little thin line of hair at the jawline, but he is joining a lot of the bearded ball players. 2-2 the count. No score first inning. Kershaw, that big high stretch, full extension. 2-2 pitch, fastball swung on and missed. Maybe it was a slider. It was down. Cespedes strikes out. Clayton picks up 2 Ks, and it's time for Bartolo Colon. The Mets fail to score, and we're heading for the first. failed to score. We can take a quick look at Dave Roberts' lineup, and it goes this way with Chase Utley, Corey Seager, and Justin Turner, Adrian Gonzalez, Yasmani Grandal, and Jock Peterson, Yasiel Puig, Kike Hernandez, and Clayton Kershaw. Checking into the box is Chase Utley, and we'll take a good long look at Bartolo Colon. Bartolo is 5'11", at least 265, might be more, doesn't make any difference. He will be 43 years old on the 24th of this month. Bartolo ready and deals, and the first pitch is promptly hit into left field for a base hit. That brings up a point about Colon. He only wants to know two things about a hitter. Number one, he wants to know, is he a first ball hitter? And the other is he a hitter I don't want to come in on? Those are the only two things he cares about. So far this year, right-handers are hitting .338 against him. Left-handers only .200, but Utley has already put that to a lie with a base hit to left field. And another left-hand hitter, Seager, checking in. Colon set and delivers, and that's promptly banged into right field. So the Dodgers are going to first ball hit him. And in a moment, the Dodgers have runners at first and third. So Colon has made two pitches, a single to left and a single to right. And both balls hit sharply.
Justin Turner.
So Justin Turner, a former Met, coming up as the Dodgers go after Colon early on the first pitch. The batter will be Justin Turner. A couple of notes about Colon, just so you can establish where he is in life and where he is in the big leagues. He'll be 43, as we said, on the 24th. He's had 19 years in the big leagues. He has won 221 games. This is his 474th start. He's had 13 shutouts and 36 complete games. And another big note, as Turner goes after the first pitch and fouls it away. For Bartolo Colon, he has pitched 3,019 innings, giving up 359 home runs. He has 2,270 strikeouts. So Seager, the youngster, at first. Utley down the line from third. And the strike one pitch is taken high, 1-1. Bartolo Colon's nickname is Pancho. The reason it's Pancho, it's named after his favorite mule. He's from the Dominican Republic, Altamira. Very, very popular over there and very kind. 1-1 pitch, fastball fouled away at 86, and the count 1-2. So it's a little upsetting for him. He's been getting left-handers out. They were hitting only 200, and back-to-back base hits by Utley and Seager. So now Turner, Gonzalez, and Grandal trying to get the jump on the Mets here in the first inning. The 1-2 pitch on the way. Bartolo set, ready, comes back to his hitter, and there's a line drive base hit into left field. So Utley scores, Seager to second, 3 consecutive hits against Colon, and the Dodgers jump out in front to a 1-0 lead. So Utley single to left, Seager single to right, Turner singles to left, and the Dodgers are on the board. And now Adrian Gonzalez coming up. So Bartolo off to a wobbly start. Both right-handers and left-handers touching him up. So Turner, the ex-Met, drives in a run, and now Adrian Gonzalez. With all those notes we told you about Bartolo Colon, it is interesting as he goes to a stretch, and Gonzalez waits. See if he goes after the first pitch. He takes it. It's very high, ball one. In all of his years, Bartolo has made only 42 wild pitches in over 3,000 innings, and he's only allowed 73 stolen bases. Bartolo set, again looking at the runners. The 1-0 pitch on the way. Colon delivers, and that drops in nicely for a strike. You might look at Colon and say, well, he's a great big guy, and you're right, but don't be fooled about Colon. Danny Warthen, the pitching coach, of the Mets says he is the most flexible of all the players on the staff, believe it or not. 1-1 pitch, and that's inside, ball 2, 2-1. Danny, who knows all about this game, once with the Dodgers as the bullpen coach, he says that Colon can do splits. He can also raise one leg above the other and touch the transom of a door with his foot. And he's going to be 43. So don't be fooled by his size. He also is a good athlete. And of course got a lot of publicity about his home run. We'll talk about that later on. Meanwhile, it's 1-0 Dodgers, first inning. Colon set. Gonzalez waiting. And here he comes, and it's on the hands, and a high fly ball to right field. Granderson coming a long way to make the catch, and the runner's hold. Boy, Granderson really had to come a ways to get to the line. Fine play by the Mets right fielder. So 1 out. They take another look if you're watching on television. Grandal was over by the scoreboard and catches the ball about 15 feet from the right field foul line. That is a long haul when you're trying to catch something. Meanwhile, the runners did not try to tag up in advance. So there's first and second, 1 out. And here's Yasmani Grandal. By the way, Gonzalez had to have big eyes on that ball that he hit. Colon ready and delivers. Grandal takes ball 1. Gonzalez has hit 3 home runs in his career against Colon and came up to the plate hitting .480 against him. So he almost but did not get the base hit. Bartolo set again. 1 ball and no strikes to count. 1-0 pitch on the way is taken inside. If you're watching on television and you look out at Colon, and we're spending a little more time on him because you see the Dodgers every day. Colon is bare-armed. He never wears sleeves, ever. Oh, yeah, he might put the windbreaker on in the dugout. He pitched earlier this year, just under 40 degrees, no sleeves. 2-0 pitch is swung on a high drive into deep right center field. The Dodgers pick up 3 in a hurry on a home run by Grandal, and it is 4-0 Los Angeles. You know, you have to give a tip of the cap to Dave Roberts. Almost every time that Clayton Kershaw pitches, A.J. Ellis is his catcher. However, Dave made the judgment. I like the matchup with Grandal against Colon, and look what happened. So Yasmani hits a 3-run dinger to right center, and the Dodgers lead 4-0. So A.J., who will probably be in there tomorrow night against the Cardinals, sees his replacement hit a big one. 4-0 Dodgers. The first pitch in for a strike to Jock Peterson. Colon, who pitches from the first base side of the rubber. Cy Young winner back in 2005. Flips one outside. That's about as hard as he can throw, 91. So Grandal, sitting alongside of Kershaw, just gave him 3 extra runs, and the Dodgers lead 4-0. So Grandal gives the Dodgers a big push. The next one, a ground ball to the right side. That'll be an out for Peterson when they had the block on. So 2 down, and Yasiel Puig coming up. Take another look at Grandal. Hit a pitch that seemed to be sailing away from him, but he was strong enough to pull it into the seats in right center field. A booming home run by Grandal. So for the Dodgers in the first inning, 4 runs, 4 hits. The Mets nothing across. Colon, you can never tell whether it's good or bad. Same poker face. And his first pitch swung on, fouled away by Yasiel Puig. So the Dodgers certainly were going after that first pitch. Utley single, Seager single, Turner fouled the first pitch off. There's a line drive, stabbed by Cabrera at shortstop, taking a base hit away from Yasiel. But the only person who could caught the ball that Yasmani Grandal hit had to be seated in the pavilion in right center field. So the Dodgers pick up a big 4. And we're heading to the second inning. Dodgers 4, Mets nothing. Yasmani Grandal hits his 3rd home run of the year with 2 men aboard. Dodgers lead 4-0 and into the second inning with Neil Walker at the plate. Walker, a switch hitter, batting right-handed, and takes ball 1. Walker, Lagares, and Plawecki in that order. 4-0 Dodgers in the second. 1-0 pitch on the way. A ground ball foul outside of third. The Arizona Diamondbacks are at home against the Giants. The D-backs have a run. They're in the third inning, leading 1-0. That's Johnny Cueto with a record of 4-1 against Zach Greinke with a record of 3-2. The big thing with Greinke, his ERA is coming down, but it's still at 5. 1 ball and 1 strike. Clayton ready. Here he comes over the top, and that's foul back. 1-2 the count. Neil Walker hitting .255 at home, .267 on the road, so he's very consistent. In his career against the Dodgers, hitting in the 220s, but they have certainly seen Neil a lot. He played so very well for Pittsburgh for years. Here's the 1-2 pitch on the way. Kershaw's curveball just missed. 2-2. By the way, Kershaw is leading 4-0. You know what his record is when he gets 40 runs? 80 wins and no losses. 80 and zip. Here's the 2-2 pitch on the way, and that's swung on and missed. Breaking ball down, little slider. So Walker strikes out. That's the 3rd strikeout for Kershaw. And Juan Lagares coming up. Lagares, good enough defensive center fielder to move Cespedes over the left. Juan Lagares picked up his Gold Glove award, hitting .271, but even better than that away from New York, hitting .300 on the road. So Lagares hitting only .222 at home, so a big split as they call it. First ball swinging, lifts one into left center. Kike Hernandez is right there to put it away. So we have 2 down in the second inning. And the batter, Kevin Plawecki. Kevin Plawecki hit a home run to help his mates, his first at bat in the second inning against Scott Kazmir. So Kevin stepping in, big right-hand batter. 2 down, top of the second, 4-0 Dodgers.
Kevin with a 5-game hitting streak. Travis d'Arnaud figures to be the #1 catcher, but he's out with injuries. First pitch in for a strike. So Plawecki doing the majority of the work, backed up by Rene Rivera. 2 down, bases empty. Kershaw leading 4-0, and the left-hander's big slow curveball drops in for the strike. That's the pitch that he has really developed after throwing 94. That big slow curveball is 73. So Plawecki has now been exposed to it, and the strike 2 pitch on the way. Fastball hit late and foul. After looking at a 73-mile-an-hour curveball, you're lucky to hit a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Kevin just got a piece of it and fouled it way off to the right. Plawecki waiting, right-hand batter, swings at the slider, and down he goes. That's 4 strikeouts for Kershaw in the first 2 innings. Looking at bobbleheads of all kinds and all shapes in Mitch Poole's office. It's 4-0 Dodgers. Kike Hernandez will start it off, followed by Clayton Kershaw and then Chase Utley. Kershaw, by the way, in the second inning breezed, making only 10 pitches, striking out 2 of the 3. So here's Kike, who's bounced around and played 5 different positions, and we must say with great enthusiasm. And Kike checks in. Colon ready, over the top, high and away, 1 ball and no strikes. We talked about Colon not wearing sleeves. His weight is questionable, and it doesn't mean anything except to him because he can still pitch. In fact, the Mets, the players, were very sensitive. So a couple of articles in a New York paper, and it was called lard ball. I mean, imagine. So the players were so furious for their buddy Bartolo, they would not talk to the press. Especially, they would not talk to anybody until the writer left the dressing room. Next pitch is popped up, and waiting for it is the shortstop Cabrera, and we have 1 down. Friends, you know, this Sunday the first 15,000 kids in attendance receive kids batting gloves courtesy of Kellogg's Rice Krispies Treats. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotion. So Hernandez pops it up, 1 out, and the batter is Clayton Kershaw. I don't know. I look at the Mets and their first place team. They were in the World Series last year. And I keep thinking of the original Mets back in 1962 with Casey Stengel. I mean, David Wright Not there. Not then. Strike one, pitch is high. To give you an idea why, I made a couple of notes why the first year of the New York Mets was incredible. The very first game that they were going to play in St. Louis, they were rained out. I mean, that's the way it started. Then they played in St. Louis, and they lost 11-4 in their first game. In the very first play for the New York Mets, there was a ground ball to third. Kershaw fouls it away. A former Dodger, Charlie Neal, was playing third base for the Mets, or actually the 1962 Mets. Charlie Neal fielded the ground ball and threw it into right field. That was another nice note for them. The 2-2 pitch is outside, ball three. The first run ever scored against the New York Mets came on a balk. Of course. No wonder they were so charming, right? And it was a former Dodger, Roger Craig, who committed the balk. 3-2 pitch on the way, fouled off down the line. The first home game that the baby New York Mets played was naturally on Friday the 13th. And they began the year losing 9 straight. That team also lost the season series to every team except the Deer Cubs. The pitch to Kershaw, down he goes swinging, and we have 2 out in the second inning. The Cubs, bless them, they split the 18 with the Mets. They had to spend the whole winter hating themselves. So anyway, that was just a couple of thoughts about the way it was as opposed to the way it is. And here's Chase Utley, single to left, scored a run. The Dodgers went on to score 3 more and lead 4-0. Alone checking, turn, ready, comes a little high and inside, ball 1, 1-0. Chase at 37, so he's a kid compared to Colon. Because they talk about Colon's home run. He was 42. Let's talk about Utley's ball. That's going to be a home run to right field. And the Dodgers now lead 5-0. And for Colon, it is a bad night. Colon allowing a 3-run home run, now a solo home run. He's allowed 6 home runs early this year, and the Dodgers take a 5-0 lead. So Colon being pushed around while the Dodgers celebrate, and the batter will be Corey Seager, but we take one more look on television for the Utley Marching and Chowder Society. Corey Seager takes low, ball 1, 1-0. Colon comes from a mountainous area in the Dominican Republic, and he helped his father pick coffee beans in the sun-baked fields near his town of Altamira. Bartolo lived in a cramped house, no electricity, no plumbing, no telephone, but his way to transportation was Pancho, his mule, and he loved to be named after the mule. Slicing fly ball to left, Cespedes makes the catch. So Seager hits it hard but out. The Dodgers still get one as Utley hits one into the right field pavilion. And at the end of 2 innings, Dodgers 5, Mets nothing. The Dodgers now breezing 5-0 behind Kershaw. It'll be Campbell, Colon, and Granderson. Kershaw looks down the barrel to get a sign, and here we go. Left-hander deals, fastball pulled foul outside of third. 0-1. I think I'm going to use the time, even though Campbell's at the plate, to talk about Colon and his home run. Colon hit his home run against James Shields, who led the league in giving up home runs a year ago. Strike one pitch is swung on and missed. 0-2. Bartolo, the oldest major league hitter, pitcher to belt a first home run, breaking the record of 40-year-old Randy Johnson back in 2003. Strike two pitch on the way. Swung on, little roller to short. Seager up with it, cranks it up and throws him out. And we have one away. Bartolo Colon, here's the home run. It was in San Diego. James Shields delivers a fastball. Salone hits it out, and watch the reaction of the players. If you're watching on TV, they then decide to clear the dugout. So when he gets home, it's empty. But then, of course, they were all over him to celebrate a rather historic home run. Sure was. The last pitcher as old as Colon to hit a home run in a major league game was the Braves' Phil Niekro at 43. That was back in 1982. And Niekro also hit the home run in San Diego. The strike one pitch, Bartolo takes high. Niekro's home run came in the final series of the season, and the Braves were dueling the Dodgers and Giants for the National League West. It was a big one. While he did that, he pitched a shutout. Colon takes a strike. And the count 1-2. The only other Mets player to homer after their 42nd birthday, Willie Mays. Yeah, he paid for the Mets. Hit 6 at 42. The 1-2 pitch, Bartolo takes strike three. Julio Franco is the man. Julio Franco hit 3 home runs at 47, and he also homered in 48. And Franco's first home run for the Mets made him the oldest player in Major League history to hit a home run, breaking the record of Jack Quinn, a pitcher, back in 1930. And believe it or not, that historic home run was also hit in San Diego. So anyway, it was one thing to watch Campbell. It's another to talk about Colon, one a little more historic than the other. Here's Granderson, shies away from the pitch up and in. Ball one. Kershaw has now struck out 5. He'd retired 6 in a row. Back he comes with a pitch low. Little slider in the dirt. 2 balls and no strikes the count. 2 out in the third. 5-0 Dodgers. 2-0 pitch on the way. Clayton ready. Fires a fastball high at 94. So he's on the edge of giving up his second walk, which is a headline. He walked right with 2 out in the first inning. 3-0 pitch on the way. Clayton is on the inside corner at the knees. 3-1. Granderson pumping that wood back and forth, fighting a big slump. The 3-1 pitch swung on and fouled away, and the count 3-2. So Kershaw, who had 3 straight games of 10 or more strikeouts and no walks, promptly walked the third man that he faced tonight, David Wright. Waiting on deck, the shortstop Cabrera. 3-2 to Curtis Granderson. Fastball pulled on the ground to the middleman. That's Utley, but they load up the right side, and that'll be that. So all of a sudden, Clayton has retired 7 in a row, and at the end of 2.5 innings, 5-0 Dodgers. in a matchup between Colon and Kershaw. Colon began his debut in 1997, Kershaw in 2008. Cy Young Award, Colon won 1, Clayton has won 3. And the first pitch down and away to Justin Turner. MVP, Colon none, Kershaw 1. An all-star, Bartolo 3 and Kershaw 4. And the pitch in for a strike. So Clayton thinking things over, still a very young man, and a 43-year-old right-hander buffeted about in the first 2 innings. 1-1 pitch, swung on, foul back, and the count 1-2. So Justin Turner, the former Met, who really became a terrific player coming here, had that surgery on the knee, a little slow to get started, but hitting .255 and perking up. The 1-2 pitch, swung on and missed, and down he goes. So Turner strikes out. That would be the second strikeout for Colon. Kershaw has 5. And the batter, Adrian Gonzalez. You know, one of the things, it sounds like something out of the movies, but one of the things that happened, Bartolo Colon, working in the fields, and would work for at least 10 hours a day, 6 days a week, and some days he'd start working at 4 a.m. His pitch to Adrian is high, ball 1. He would throw rocks at trees to knock the fruit out, and that's what caught the attention of some of the nearby scouts. 1-0 pitch, off speed, lined into right field for a base hit. Joe Gonzalez, who came into the game hitting .480 against Colon, a long out in the first inning and a single to right, and that will bring up Yasmani Grandal, and he pulled one, dropped the bat immediately, and the ball was in the pavilion way up, a little more than halfway. So Yasmani with a 3-run home run that gave the Dodgers 3 of the 5 they now have. And he has Gonzalez at first, 1 out, Jock Peterson on deck. Colon delivers very high, ball 1, 1-0. As far as the running game is concerned with Colon, we told you he's only made 42 wild pitches, and in 19 years he's allowed 73 stolen bases. Not that we expect Gonzalez to run, as Grandal fouls it back. So 78 stolen bases and 60 runners have been caught. Only 17 pickoffs. So when you do the math, 19 years, 73 stolen bases. That's a little under 4 stolen bases allowed per year. 1-1. Colon back with a high fastball, swung on and missed. Another thing you have to wonder about, you take a kid, well, he was a kid like Colon, in a small house, no real facilities, no plumbing, nothing, and he's made over $11 million several times in his career. What a culture shock that has to be. 1-2 pitch hit in the air to left center, but it appears playable. Lagares, a Gold Glove, makes the catch. So they get Grandal for the second out.
Number 31.
So a long way from throwing rocks to knock coconuts out of trees to be an $11 million pitcher, but it's happened for him. So 2 down, bottom of the third, 5-0 favor of the Dodgers, and there's Jock Peterson. By the way, the Giants lead the D-backs now in the 4th inning, 2-1. Greinke gave up hits to Belt and Pence, each with an RBI. Colon ready, high set, up around the letters, over the top fastball, swung on and missed. Peterson almost fell down, came right out from under his helmet, and the count 0-1. Peterson swings so hard. Jock's 6 home runs result of that swing. And the strike one pitch on the way. Colon delivers, and it's going to be popped into right field high enough for Granderson to jog in and make a two-handed catch for the out. So no runs, 1 hit, a man left, and at the end of 3, 5-0 Dodgers.
Brought to you by the Dodge Challenger. Test drive one at your local Dodge dealer today. And by Jack in the Box. Taste the Bacon-licious sourdough bacon ranch combo. Only at Jack in the Box.
Way back in June of 1962, young Sandy Koufax pitched a no-hitter against those charming, dazzling New York Mets 5-0. Was about as bad a team, but it was another great performance. That's that wonderful story about Marv Thornberry and the Mets, where Thornberry was called out for missing second base, running the bases, and Casey Stengel came charging out of the dugout on his way to second, and the first base umpire said, "Save your time, Casey." He also missed first base. So Stengel turned, went back to the dugout. The Mets of '62. Meanwhile, Cabrera tapped a third in the first inning. 1 ball and 1 strike. Kershaw, by the way, moving up rapidly, now 16th in franchise history. He has 118 wins. Carl Erskine had 122. Don Newcomb 123. Ground ball wide of first through the hole. Utley was way over near the bag with a right-hand batter, and Cabrera, a very good hitter, singles to right field.
Number 5, David
So
Ryder.
that's the first hit. It comes in the 4th inning. A well-placed ground ball from Cabrera, and it'll bring up David Wright. When you're talking about winners wearing a Dodger uniform, don't forget Ramon Martinez. He also had 123 wins. David Wright walked in the first inning. Kershaw had retired 7 in a row until the hit, and that's foul back. 0-1. 5 runs, 6 hits for the Dodgers, 4 in the first inning. 1 more in the second. Home runs by Grandal and Utley. Pancho sitting quietly in the dugout. Of course, after 19 years and 3,000 innings, he's had everything happen to him. He tells a story when he was pitching very well back in '97 for Cleveland, and he got a phone call where a guy threatened to kill him and his family if he didn't pitch well enough. How'd you like to have that on your mound going out to pitch? How did he pitch? Well, he allowed 2 runs, 5 hits, 6 innings. His team lost. And they said, "Were you scared?" He said, "I was terrified. I didn't know who the guy was who called me. But fortunately, nothing happened." Sounds like a bad movie, but it actually occurred back in '97. 1 ball and 1 strike. Ball 2. Oh, another thing which was pretty clever. I'd love to see it. When Colon hit his home run, somebody who really knows what he's doing had the tape of the famous home run in the natural. Remember that one? You're looking at Robert Redford. Well, not quite. But they did blend it, and they say it's a terrific piece of video. 2-2. Dodgers and Kershaw leading 5-0. Cabrera at first, nobody out. Two balls, 2 strikes. What a tough act Bartolo Colon has tonight, following those wondrous New York Mets pitchers. Just low, ball 3. Steven Matz has a tender elbow, so he's going to miss his next start. But the other fellows, DeGrom, Syndergaard, and Harvey. There's Matz bundled up. What a staff. 3-2 the count. We'll see what Cabrera does. He'll draw a throw. Boy, what a beautiful evening. Flags hanging limply on the posts. As nice a night as we've had in quite some time. Hope you'll be out here on the weekend with the Cardinals. 3-2. And down goes right. Six strikeouts now for Clayton Kershaw. Already in the 4th inning. Slider down. And of course it was a bad ball, but Wright was badly fooled. So here's Cespedes, who struck out in the 1st inning. Five runs, 6 hits for the Dodgers, no runs, 1 hit for the Mets. We're in the 4th. Chopper foul. No balls and 1 strike. The Mets have had the base runner Wright, who walked in the 1st inning, and the hitter Cabrera, who singled to right. Utley's home run, the 36th of his career against the Mets. Randolph hit a big one with 2 men aboard. Fastball at 94, but it misses. 1 ball and 1 strike. A little surprising in some ways that the Dodgers jumped all over Colon. 1-1. Fastball hit to the left of Seager. He's up with it, shovels it to Utley. High throw, but a toe dance by Gonzalez, and they get the double play. 6-4-3 if you're scoring. No runs, 1 hit, nobody left. And at the end of 3.5 innings, it's still 5-0 Dodgers. Bottom of the fourth inning. Bartolo Colon, who has whacked around a bit in the first two innings, will be facing Puig, Hernandez, and Kershaw. Puig lost a base hit on a diving catch by Cabrera. Ball one, 1-0. Zach Greinke has just given up a couple of more runs. Joe Panik hit a 2-run home run. It's 4-1 Giants in the fifth inning, and Greinke has made 70 pitches. And the next pitch outside, ball two. So Zach laboring. Meanwhile, Puig doing the same. Colon's 2-0 pitch on the way. Ball three. You can well understand throughout his long career, Colon's weight has always been a story. In fact, back in 2000 and 2001, his contract had a clause. We'll tell you about the clause. As Puig is allowed to swing 3-0, fouls it away. Kevin Plawecki did not know where the ball was, but it's just as well it's back in the stand, so Kevin is not embarrassed. Anyway, to get back to Colon, in his contract 2000 and 2001, the clause that they would pay him $12,500 every time he weighed in at less than 225. He never collected a dime. His weight stayed, no matter how hard, it still weighed around 250 instead of 225. 3-2. A shot speared by Colon, and the out at first. So Puig could easily be 2 for 2. A line drive, a diving catch by Cabrera, and now this play by Colon. That Colon appeared a little annoyed. He thought that he had caught the ball on a line, but the plate umpire said no, so he kind of fired it over. Actually, he short hopped it. He looks at the plate, plenty of time, and out goes Puig. So one away in the fourth. Kike Hernandez takes a strike. 0-1 the count. Dodgers lead 5-0. 1 ball, 1 strike. Colon did another thing that would catch your eye. He turned 2 years older overnight. That happens a lot, of course, but in his case, going to spring training, the government official found a discrepancy. Big ground ball to third. David Wright is on it. That'll do it for Kike. 2 down, and Clayton Kershaw coming up. He struck out in the second inning. Clayton hitting .211, pretty good hitting pitcher. First pitch in for a strike. 5 runs, 6 hits for the Dodgers, 2 home runs by Utley with the bases empty and Grandal with 2 aboard. Fouled away. Clayton rolling along in high gear with a record of 4-1, 6-0, winning 6 of his 8 starts against the Mets, trying to make it 7-0. And that's hit in the air to left center, pretty deep. Lagares is there, however. So 1, 2, 3, and now Colon is starting to settle in. He's allowed 1 hit in the last 2 innings and walks off still trailing 5-0. by your Southern California Toyota dealers. Toyota time is going on now. Save big on the striking all-new 2016 Prius. See your local dealer today. 5-0 Dodgers, top of the 5th inning. Don't you love a look back? A famous and rather dramatic moment. Orel Hershiser dropping to his left knee to give thanks. One of the highlights of the 1988 season, and quite a surprise. During the regular season, the New York Mets had beaten the Dodgers 10 of 11. They had Dwight Gooden throwing BBs, but the Dodgers still won and went on to win the World Series. Kirk Gibson, etc. Neil Walker, Juan Lagares, and then Kevin Plawecki. Walker struck out in the 2nd inning. Fastball banged right where Utley is and went away. Like real estate, location, location, location. Say, don't forget tomorrow, after the Dodgers face the Cardinals, why not sit on the field? Enjoy Friday night fireworks presented by Denny's. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. So Walker hits it all but grounds out. 1 down. And Juan Lagares checking in. Lagares flied to left in the 2nd inning. The only ball hit in the air against Kershaw. That's a strike. 0-1. That's a changeup floated away. 1-1. 56 pitches made by Kershaw. Colon has made 58. Another off-speed pitch, ball 2. Five runs, 6 hits for the Dodgers. The Mets have 1 hit, single to right by Cabrera, and Colon looks like a far better pitcher now after the 1st inning. Fastball hit in the air to left. Kike started in. It's now over his head, and he makes an over-the-shoulder catch. So he was going the wrong way, but Kike has those quick reflexes and able to turn around and make the catch. There he goes in. Whoops. And makes a good play. That is only the 2nd ball hit in the air against Kershaw, and each time it was Juan Lagares. So now young Kevin Plawecki struck out 2nd inning, homered in the series, his 1st of the year. Grounds foul off the protective railing. 2 out, 5th inning. Dodgers lead 5-0. They jumped all over Colon in the 1st inning. You know, the 1st inning can be very much of a problem. There were home runs in the 1st, Grandal, and then in the 2nd. But when you're a visiting pitcher, there's a lot of problems, and the number one is the mound. Even though they're all supposed to be 10 inches high, they're all really different. 0-1 the count. Ground foul. So a lot of times you'll find a visiting pitcher will give up a run or 2. I'm not saying he's going to give up 4, but they usually have struggles in the 1st inning. And Bartolo gave up 3 consecutive singles and then a 1-out home run. Since then, he settled down pretty well. Change up got him. The Plawecki looking for anything but that. And I also thought Kevin thought it might have been outside the plate, but down he goes. Out there, they call it framing. What a job, and it is still 5-0 Dodgers. Chase Utley will start it off with 2 out in the second inning. He hit one of Colon's pitches all the way. It was his 36th career home run against the Mets. That puts him into a tie with Andre Dawson for 10th place on the all-time Mets opponent home run list. Who's number one? Willie. No, not Mays. Willie Stargell. He hit 60 in his career with Pittsburgh against New York. So Utley, Seager, and Turner against Bartolo Colon. And a soft line drive into right field for a base hit. So the Dodgers have 7 hits through 4 innings against Bartolo Colon. For Utley, a great leadoff night. He's 3 for 3. Corey Seager lined a single to right, flied to left, 1 for 2, scored a run. And that's a fly ball. Granderson has a play. He'll make the catch, and Utley will go back to first, and we have 1 down. I'm sure he's been asked it a lot. Colon's being 43 years old on the 24th. So the question is, when are you going to retire? And Bartolo said, if God gives me the opportunity, I'm going to keep pitching as long as I can. I love this game. Hanging out with friends. I don't ever want to stop. So we will be interested to see just how long he goes. Utley, by the way, has been very aggressive, and it has paid off. He is 3 for 3, and he's only seen 4 pitches. So here now is Turner. And ball 1. Justin single left. Last time up, struck out. Jerry Blevins, a left-hander, gets up in the Mets bullpen. Colon is due to bat second in the 6th inning. So this could be his last inning of work. Colon did something somewhat magical, and it was against the Dodgers. You know, he did pitch for the Angels, among others. He had to skip his regular start 2 years ago to go back to the Dominican. His mother had passed away. Then he came back to make a start in between her passing and her funeral. 2-0 pitch foul back. So he got back on an airplane, flew to Los Angeles, threw 6 innings of 2-run ball against the Dodgers, got back on an airplane, and flew back to the Dominican. Terry Collins said, he's amazing. Two and 1 the count. 5-0 Dodgers. Bottom of the 5th inning. Foul back. 2-2. In the 1st inning, which changed everything, Utley singled. Seager singled him to second. Turner singled him home. With 1 out, Grandal hit a 3-run home run. So the Dodgers had 4 in the 1st inning. Added another on the home run by Utley, and that's been it. Just off the plate. As you notice, his fastballs are right around 87. Kershaw every now and then hits 95. We had a similar thing when Syndergaard was facing Maeda. Maeda was throwing low, and Noah, Thor as they call him, was throwing 99. There goes the runner, and there goes the ball to right field. Granderson going back to the track and picks it off. Then gets the ball back to the infield, and Utley returns to first. So Turner gives it a ride, but not quite enough. And Granderson, who does a wonderful job covering ground out there, makes a nice play. And here's Adrian, who wears Colon out. And he's been a tough out. In the first inning, Gonzalez lined out to right field, and next time up singled. 5 runs, 7 hits, no errors for the Dodgers, no runs, just 1 hit for the Mets. That was a clean single by Cabrera. 0-1. Two out, 5-0 Dodgers, bottom of the 5th. Line drive, foul. 0-2. Boy, Adrian, who likes to swing, came into the game hitting .480 against Colon. By the way, Colon wearing that number 40. He's worn that 40 all of his career. In fact, they have a statue in his little town where he built the stadium. They have a statue of him, and on the helmet it has B40C, Bartolo 40 Colon. 0-2. Ball 1. They don't really have a shift on, and they still play Walker way out into right field. So it shows you don't have to load up the right side if you have a guy who pulls a lot. Oh, you move your shortstop a bit near the bag at second. And there it is, B40C. Good. 1-2. Off-speed pitch, and he is badly fooled. 79 miles an hour. So no runs, 1 hit. It might be the last we're going to see of Bartolo Colon. We'll see. He's due up second in the 6th inning. 5-0 Dodgers.
Big crowd at Ebbets Field. That means 29,000. And the Giants and Dodgers were playing. Carl Erskine pitched a no-hitter. It was saved by Jackie Robinson, who made a diving catch on a line drive, and a long running catch by Carl Perillo. Let's go back to this one.
Bartolo Colon being consoled, I think, briefly in the dugout. So it looks like it'll be Eric Campbell for sure. And then a hitter, Danny Warthen, comes over. Had Colon gotten by in the first inning, this would be a totally different ball game. Alejandro Diaza is on deck. He will bat for Colon. And then we'll see Granderson. Down in the pen, a newcomer, Sean Patrick Gilmartin, Vigar. Ball 2, 2-1. Campbell grounded out in the third inning. Kershaw's allowed 1 hit. Little ground ball scooped by Seager, throws on the run, 1 away. Alejandro Diaza coming up. Diaza batting .206. He has 1 home run, 1 run batted in. Left-hand hitter, and then it'll be Granderson to follow. And ball 1. So we saw one of the great stories in the game. Bartolo Colon stumble in the first inning and then pretty much recover. Allow 1 run and 1 hit for the next 4 innings. But for Bartolo, the game was over. Talking to Plawecki as if to say, nice calling. That's a nice thing. Of course, he is a terrific guy. But you say to a young rookie catcher, you've had a bad night, you don't blame him. And you give him a little fist bump to say, nice game. Colon's hat usually has numbers on it for buddies who are sick or hurting. 1-2. Oh, that slow curveball, 74 miles an hour. That's not fair. Diaza sitting in the dugout, frozen, looking fastball. Oh my goodness, he's done it again. So that's 8 strikeouts for Clayton. And with 2 out, Granderson coming up. 8 strikeouts, 1 walk. The walk to David Wright. Granderson has struck out, grounded out, 0 for 2. They load up the right side. Clayton Kershaw has been outspoken about it. He's not happy about loading up one side. Of course, there is certainly something to talk about. There's the 1-0 pitch on the way. Check swing. They're going to look. No swing. 2-0. You load up the right side with a left-handed batter. What you're saying is he's going to pull the ball to the right side. So you have to pitch to your strength. And the hitter has a chance to go the other way. This time he bangs it into right field. That's going to land for a hit. Puig over to get it. Granderson runs well, and he's into second base standing with a double. So Granderson, a 2-out double to right.
Shortstop is Drupal Cabrera.
And the batter will be Cabrera. Granderson, who's been fighting a slump, gets out of it a little bit. He's 1 for 3 with the double. Second hit for the Mets. Cabrera is the one who has the other hit. Struble grounded to third, single to right. So with the right side loaded up, Kershaw pitched to Granderson's strength, making hit the right side, only it's a double. Low fastball. 0-1. The amazing Kershaw with 8 strikeouts. Trying to make his record 5-1 and trying to beat the Mets 7 times without a loss. Oh, I know you lost in the division series, but that doesn't count when you're talking about the regular season. Look at that. Earned run average of 1.3 against the Mets. Fastball, and he jammed him. Cabrera couldn't get around on that thing. Of course, you forget about it. It's 11:36 in New York. Well, Kershaw might be putting New York to sleep, allowing just 2 hits. Yeah. Five runs, 7 hits for the Dodgers. No runs, 2 hits for the Mets. Colon made 70 pitches while he was in there. Cabrera has been very impressive. We don't see the Eastern Division very much, but watching him in 4 games, you have a chance to really take a look at a player, and he's a good one. Asdrubal Cabrera holds up. They're going to check. No swing, not even close. So 3-2 to Cabrera. David Wright on deck. The Mets trying to find somehow, some way to get back in the game. That's in there. Fastball right down the middle. Cabrera probably saying he's not going to throw me fastball 3-2, and he did. So that's 9 strikeouts for Clayton, and it's still 5-0 Dodgers. To you by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop online at choosenissan.com. And by Carl's Jr., the $4 real deal. 4 items for just $4 at Carl's Jr. If you look closely at that broadcast booth where we hung out and started WOR-TV in New York at Ebbets Field, notice the screens, because the balls would come in there like they were shot out of bazookas. You could not afford to take your eye off a pitch. So So many of them came in. We had to put the screen up. Hey, this is a big moment for Sean Patrick Gilmartin from Moore Park. Ball one. The left-hander, 6'2", 190. Went to school at Crespi High School in Encino, and originally drafted by the Padres back in 2008. With Steven Matz out with a sore elbow, they're going to rest him. So they take another look at Sean Martin. He was with the Mets for about 50 games last year, and he was 3-2. Change up, but he missed. Yasmani Grandal has the big hit, a 3-run home run against Bartolo Colon in the first inning. 2-1. Fastball hit by the mound, but look at there. Second baseman's on the other side of the bag, and just like that, you have one out. So the batter now will be Jock Peterson. He grounded out, fly to right, 0 for 2. So Jock facing Sean Patrick Gilmartin, who went to Crespi but then went on to Florida State. Got a job with the Braves. 5 runs, 7 hits for the Dodgers, no runs, 2 hits for the Mets. Ball one. And that's in there. Gilmartin was a first-round pick by the Braves. They signed him for a big deal. First-round money means at least $1 million. I'm not sure if he still has them, but he had a couple of superstitions. Oh, good breaking ball. He says, I always have to eat chicken before a game. Second, putting on the uniform, it goes sliders, cup, left leg, sanitary socks, then stirrup, then the right leg, undershirt, pants, and finally the jersey top. So Sean Gilmartin is a little superstitious, because eating chicken before a game, if you've been following baseball at all, you have to think of Wade Boggs. He always said that he ate chicken before every game. One and two. Fastball pulled, smothered, and they take a hit away. So 2 down in the 6th inning, and the batter is Puig. Good defensive play by the Mets. So Walker takes the hit away, 2 down. Dodgers had that first inning when they scored 4. They've scored 1 run since, and they have not had a man to second base. They've had 2 singles since the home run by Utley. And ball one. Puig, with any luck, would be 2 for 2. He hit a line drive, and Cabrera made a diving catch of it. And then last time up, hit a shot speared on one tight hop by Bartolo Colon, who threw him out. That check swing is ruled a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. I don't believe I've seen Puig really argue. I don't think so. 2-1. No swing. Two balls, 1 strike. Now that pitch was, I think, outside, and if you look at it, Puig's head came off the ball completely. Take a look. Yeah, it's out there. His head is up. Not a chance. 2-2. Giants are leading the D-backs 4-1 in the 6th. Dodgers are leading the Mets 5-0. Bottom of the 6th. They're tied with each other in first place. 2-2. So Puig goes 0 for 3. The Dodgers go 1-2-3. And since the second inning, this has been a heck of a game. But the first inning, it was Bartolo Colon being pushed around, and the Dodgers lead 5-0. One thing you have to do, you have to stop a potential losing streak. So how do you do following a team loss? Well, look at Clayton's record. Since 2013, following a loss, 25-7 and an earned run average of 1.8. Wow. And remember, he's following that 3-2 loss a 4-3 loss last night. Okay, 1 ball and no strikes. Here's David Wright, followed by Cespedes, and then Walker. And the fastball lifted to right center. Puig calling for it. Puig wearing glasses out there, sunglasses. Yeah, I think so. There you go. The other night, Yasiel and Peterson had a lot of trouble on fly balls, but in the first 2 innings, when you have that powder blue sky, now you pretty well see the ball against that black sky overhead. 1 down. Cespedes struck out, hit into a double play. Right. In his last 8 games, Cespedes was hitting .345. However, against Kershaw, he is 1 for 11. 0 for 2 tonight, came in 1 for 9. And he has struck out twice. Before tonight, struck out in the first inning. So he's 1 for 11 with 3 strikeouts against Clayton Kershaw. Boy, the Mets dugout, they're all up right on the first row, taking every look they can at one of the great pitchers of the game today in Clayton Kershaw. Curveball. Here comes Seager. Nice pick. 2 down. Neil Walker will be coming up. Walker has struck out and grounded out. Well, let's see. Granderson struck out. Cabrera has struck out. Wright has struck out. Cespedes has struck out. Walker has struck out. Plawecki has struck out. And the pitcher spot has struck out. So Campbell and Lagares are the only two Mets who have not bitten the dust against Clayton. Giants, meanwhile, leading the D-backs 4-2 in the sixth. Chris Owings doubled in a run. Greinke went 6 innings and made 104 pitches. There's the change, but it was up a little bit. 1-1 the count. Walker striking out. Back in the second inning. Two down, top of the seventh, 5-0 Dodgers. Fastball, got a little of it. 1-2 the count. Dodgers trying to get well at home. They have 6 wins and 10 losses. They're also struggling against the East. In 10 games against Eastern teams, they've lost 7 of the 10. 1-2. Big curveball popped up. Adrian is calling. That'll do it. So the Mets go down, and at the end 6½, Kershaw working on a 5-0 shutout.
Dodger Baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by BMW. See a Southern California BMW Center today for exceptional offers, or visit SoCalBMW.com. And by Children's Hospital Los Angeles. We treat kids better.
First ball swinging, Kike Hernandez hits a fly ball to Granderson, and 1 out. And the batter now will be Clayton Kershaw.
Pitcher number 22.
So Sean in a hurry to get it going and got his man. So he's retired 4 in a row. Clayton has struck out and flied to center, 0 for 2. We're in the bottom of the 7th, 5-0 Dodgers. Kershaw working on his second shutout. Fastball strike. 1-1. Gil Martin at Florida State was an All-American, and as we said, a first-round pick by the Braves. Pitches in a hurry. Little chopper, and at 6-2, Gil Martin makes the play. So we have 2 out here in the 7th. Utley's coming up. A reminder, Saturday, the first 40,000 in attendance when the Dodgers face the Cardinals receive a replica Dodger Stadium. I'm really looking forward to that. Courtesy of Farmer John. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. I have one of those of Ebbets Field. I had it right away and send a lot of money to get it. It looks just like it. So it'll be nice to have one here. Off speed, good changeup for a strike. Utley single to left, homered, single to right. 3 for 3, a point away from 300. Gil Martin comes right back after you. 1-1. Utley playing absolutely marvelous ball. The question, of course, at his age, will he be able to hold up all year? And Dave Roberts keeps that in mind every time he's writing out the lineup. That's ball 2. There was a big decision, I'm sure, for Dave Roberts tonight before the game to catch Grandal instead of Ellis with Kershaw pitching. And it paid off. Grandal hit that 3-run home run. 2-2. So Yasmani, he has the big swing. Got Bartolo Colon when he wasn't ready in the first inning. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Oh, great pitching by the young left-hander, Sean Patrick Gil Martin. And at the end of 7, 5-0 Dodgers. So we go into the 8th inning. Clayton with 9 strikeouts. Remember, he has 3 games in a row where he struck out 10 at least. Lagares, one of just 2 to avoid the strikeout. Twice Juan flied to left. Hitting .260. One and one. That's that change curveball. He's got that in there pretty regularly now. 5-7-0 for the Dodgers, including a 3-run home run by Grandal and a solo home run by Upton. Chopper to short to Seager. Boy, Lagares runs very well. Milled it down there, running very easily, and made it a relatively close play. Well, now there are a couple of left-handers to draw to, Koufax and Valenzuela. Whoa. How about Kershaw? One down. Well, here's Plawecki, who's had a tough night. Struck out in the second, struck out in the fifth. Check swing, little roller, fair ball, ground ball to first. 2 down. So with 2 out in the 8th inning, Eric Campbell played first and third in this series. Campbell twice grounded to short. The only 2 men to not strike out tonight, Lagares 0 for 3 and Campbell 2 ground balls to short. 0-1. Kershaw has made 93 pitches with 2 out in the 8th. Paid attendance tonight 41,765. Dodgers trying to keep pace with the Giants. Giants are winning 4-2. Dodgers are winning 5-0. Giants game is in the top of the 7th inning in Arizona. Change, got it in there at 73. Wow. Lucas Duda is out on deck. Ball 1. So Duda would bat for Gil Martin. There he is. Fight on. Went to school at SC. Well, that does it for Campbell. He joins the club. So only Lagares has avoided the strikeout. That's 10 strikeouts for Clayton. And we're going to the bottom of the 8th. 5-0 Dodgers. Brought to you by Cricket Wireless. Cricket, something to smile about. I know they're going to be here in the Monday night, but we found a couple of Angels right now as we go to the bottom of the inning, and Seager fouling it off 0-1. 41,765 with some Angels like that one. Look at that. Oh my gosh. Mwah. 0-2. Seager single to right, fly to left, fly to right. 1 for 3, scored a run. Checked. Gil Martin, very impressive in his last 2 innings. Made 23 pitches in 2 innings. That's all the Mets need, another good pitcher. Pulled foul. George Lombard, a very intelligent coach, is far away from any coaching box. Yeah, he's there. He's out of town compared to the coaching box. 2-2. Seager, Turner, Gonzalez. Anybody gets on, Grandal. And missed with the fastball. 3-2. So Kershaw is looking at another one of those games. 10 or more strikeouts. 4 games in a row. High foul coming back is Plawecki. Kevin's at the screen. No play. Still 3-2. Dodgers are waiting the arrival of the St. Louis Cardinals, and they'll be here tomorrow night. Michael Wacha and Ross Stripling, Carlos Martinez and Scott Kazmir, Mike Leake, Alex Wood. Friday night, Saturday at 6, and then Sunday. Little foul, that's going to be out. 3-2 the count. Just take a look at the calendar to keep it on mind. Here come the Cardinals for the weekend. Then the Angels come here for 2, and the Dodgers go to the Angels for 2. Then the Dodgers continue to San Diego and come back to play 3 with the Reds, and then they're off to New York. Breaking ball popped up, and it will be Cabrera. So Seager pops it up, 1 out here in the 8th. And Justin Turner.
Third baseman, number 10, Justin Turner.
Turner, single to left, struck out, fly to right. When the Mets come up in the 9th inning for the last call, there'll be a batter for Gil Martin, then Granderson and Cabrera. If anybody gets on, David Wright. David, very quiet in the series, which is news. 0 for 2 tonight. Wright did not play last night. Went 0 for 3, striking out 3 times in the Woods game. And went 0 for 4 in the first game. That's a fellow who, when he arrived here, was hitting .365 against the Dodgers. Turner, meanwhile, hung at that .250 mark. 1 for 3 tonight. And in there at 88 fastball. The Mets with that great starting staff. I mean, Matt Harvey and Jacob deGrom, Steven Matz, Noah Syndergaard. Then they have Bartolo Colon, who is certainly no slouch. And then people like Gil Martin, they just turn around and call up. Wow. 2-2 to Justin Turner. And pulls that slider into the gap for a base hit. Over to get it, Lagares. So Turner goes 2 for 4, and with 1 out, that'll bring up Adrian Gonzalez. Be sure to follow Dodger Baseball live with the MLB.com at-bat app. Stay up to the moment at any moment with Game Day, with live game video highlights, StatCast, news, and so much more. Download MLB.com at-bat. That's the #1 app for live baseball on your phone and tablet. Gonzalez fly deep to right, single to right, and struck out. Holds up on a strike. Dodgers getting their first hit against Gil Martin. Dodgers 5 runs, 8 hits. That's on the hands. 0-2. Dodgers battling for a split. Utley and company winning 3-2, and now trying to hold on and win 5-0. They lost 4-2 and 4-3. Breaking ball 1-2, slider down and away. Sean just called up, and needless to say, very happy to be here. The Mets pitchers with Matz and Noah Syndergaard. Another slider. 2-2. Gil Martin's not gonna bat, but last July when he made his major league debut, he got a base hit in his first career at bat. It was in the 16th inning when he got it. That game was against the Cardinals, and he kept pestering Terry Collins, let me hit. And the skipper said, all right, go ahead. And he went up against Carlos Martinez and blooped a single into left field. No, we won't say bloop. No. Line drive base hit. That's like somebody says, I had a hole in one. What'd you use? I had a 5-iron. No. You have to tell your friends you feathered a 7. Oh, what a great off-speed pitch. Adrian way out in front of it. By the way, that's the 3rd strikeout for Sean Patrick Gilmartin. And the batter, Yasmani Grandal, who hit the big one, the 3-run home run in the first inning. Since then, fly to center, grounded out. The Cardinals will be here tomorrow night. Michael Wacha will open it up, and it'll be Ross Stripling on the mound. Fly ball, routine. Lagares is right there. So that'll do it for Grandal. No runs, 1 hit, a man left. Nice performance for 3 innings for Will Martin. And now we're going to the 9th, and the ball is in Kershaw's hands. Dodgers in 5 straight starts. Clayton Kershaw has struck out 10 or more. If he holds on to win this game, he will pass Don Drysdale for the most victories at Dodger Stadium history. He is 65-29 going to the mound right now. For Kershaw, trying also to come up with his second complete game and his second shutout. Lucas Duda, who normally plays only against right-handers, will come off the bench now and bat against Clayton Kershaw. Dodgers, as usual, load up the right side, but Peterson is over in left center. Checked for a strike. So Kershaw has made 97 pitches, and he hit 93 on the gun. 0-1. Slow and missed. 72 miles an hour. Mets have 2 hits. Granderson a double and a single by Cabrera. That's the slider. 1-2. And another overhand curve, very slow. So down goes Duda. That would be 11 strikeouts for Sandy Koufax, the 9th spot in the lineup for the Mets. 3 strikeouts. So Curtis Granderson struck out, grounded out, double to right. The only Mets player to avoid the strikeout. Juan Lagares, who had 2 fly balls and a ground ball. There's Lagares just watching. 1-1 to Curtis Granderson. Fastball fouled away. When the night began, the Mets were leading Washington by a half a game. We'll check and see whether Washington played tonight. Terry Collins might be falling out of first place tonight. And Washington didn't play, so they'll wind up tied with Washington. Slow curveball. Got him again. That's 12 strikeouts for Kershaw. So the Mets will leave town buzzing about the left-hander, who is on his way to having a 7-0 record against the Mets. What a job he has done on them tonight. So 1 out away from wrapping it up. He has struck out 3 in a row. And the wondrous left-hander working on Cabrera. Grounded to third, single to right, and struck out. Giants are leading the D-backs 4-2, bottom of the 8th inning. Line drive, base hit. Up with it is Kike. So Cabrera comes up with his second hit. As we were saying earlier, he's a very impressive shortstop.
Third baseman number 5, David Wright.
So 3 hits for the Mets, all on the top. Granderson has 1, Cabrera has 2, and now here's Wright. 11 strikeouts and 1 walk. The walk came in the first inning to Wright. Crowd on its feet, 41,765. Fastball at 93, so he's pumped up. Wright walked, struck out, fly to right. And the breaking ball, the slider, 0-2. So Colon will be 3-2 0-1 against the Dodgers this year and 2-6 in his career. Yep, they're looking for another strikeout. With 12 strikeouts and 1 walk tonight, he's 76-4. 76 strikeouts to 4 walks. Balk being called, and down to second goes Cabrera. 0-2. Fastball high and away. No argument on the balk. For Kershaw, interestingly enough, that's his 3rd balk. 1-2. Got him. Dropped by Grandal. Tag at the plate. So he winds up tying a ribbon on the package. 13 strikeouts and 1 walk. He's bigger than anybody in the room. Wow. 5 runs, 8 hits, no errors for the Dodgers. No runs, 3 hits, no errors for the Mets. Kershaw, the winner, he is 5-1, and he is 7-0 against New York. Colon, the loser, he is 2-6 lifetime against the Dodgers. The player of the game, who else? Clayton does it, and that'll do it for us. We'll see you tomorrow evening. Until then, we wish you all a very pleasant good evening, everybody.